Good morning, guys. Good morning. How are we all feeling after that ridiculous performance yesterday by Charity FC? I don't know about you, but I'm kind of getting to the point now where I'm ready for the season to end. I cannot wait for it to come to its conclusion. Obviously, I want to win the FA Cup. That goes without saying. But it just seems now that it's kind of, and I've got my own theory on why. Things are kind of getting to the point now where we are seriously stuttering over the line in terms of qualifying for next season's Champions League, when it looked like a few weeks ago, especially before the international break, it was an absolute given. But it's not anymore. We've got North London breathing down our necks. Both Arsenal and Spurs are now sat there waiting to pounce. Arsenal with their victory at West Ham yesterday, which I knew they would win because I thought West Ham would have their eyes more set on their European semi-final second leg against Frankfurt coming up next, obviously after that game. So therefore Arsenal will be looking at that and would go the extra mile. And of course they're in good nick right now, in good form, you have to say. And they've now moved within 3 points from us, and Spurs won at home to Leicester, 5 points behind, but same games played, guys. And although I look at those fixtures that we've got coming up, and they're more than winnable, let's be fair. Wolves at home, Leeds away, which is going to be another game just like Everton, where they'll be scrapping for their lives. And let's not, forget the fact that they absolutely hate us, so it's even more of an incentive. But we have got Watford, I believe, at home, Leicester at home. So we should get the 2 victories, which should guarantee us Champions League football. But you have to say right now, the team isn't playing well at all. So many players that are playing below par. So many players perhaps on with their minds or on other things. And to be honest with you, I just don't get it. I mean, we knew what to expect. We always know what to expect at Goodison. It's always a tough game, regardless of where they are right now. It's a situation where the stadium always gets behind them. They're tough, always tough at home. Everton, let's be fair, we've come unstuck there many, many times before when we're in better form. But we knew, with Burnley getting that result away at Watford, that the pressure was really, really on. And you can see it, their supporters lining the streets as their players came into the stadium. They were absolutely going to roar their team on, to victory. They needed 3 points, really, really needed 3 points. 1 point wasn't enough for them. 3 points was everything. And so they were just going to get in our faces and exploit our weaknesses. And I think a lot of this is all about the psychology and the belief and the desire. It seems to be, it's kind of like evaporating away. But we know what to expect. Everton were always going to be coming at us. We were always there, lambs to the slaughter, so to speak. And I have to say, reading on some Chelsea platforms, websites and YouTube channels, there's a lot of Chelsea fans out there that wanting us to lose. A lot of people were sort of Frank Lampard FC for this particular game. And for me, I just don't get that at all. We need 3 points. We needed the 3 points. And I don't just want to creep home over the line. I wanted us to be the 3rd best side. We know we're not on a level with Manchester City and Liverpool. We know that. But we are the 3rd best team. But maybe now we have to look at ourselves and look at that squad, because maybe we perhaps thought we were better than what we were. We were blessed with, too much talent. 2 players for every position. I know I've said that. And maybe we're not. And maybe Thomas Tuchel deserves a bit of attention going his way in his terms of selection. And, yes, you can criticise players. This is all about Chelsea Football Club. You pays your money, you takes your choice, and you know, I have to say, I just find it incredulous that since the international break, we have just been a poor reflection of ourselves. Brentford smashed at home, not just beaten but smashed at home. The first leg game, which gave us everything we had to do in the second leg against Real Madrid, again mistakes against Everton, piss poor mistakes. A defence that was, you know, impregnable. Previously, we was always very, very solid about our defence. It was always about us being solid at the back. We just couldn't fucking score goals. But it's now about defensive errors and perhaps players playing where their 100% attention and focus isn't on the football club that they represent, the badge, so to speak. And, you know, I have to look at those Chelsea supporters and say, why would you want that, you know? Do you honestly believe that Frank Lampard's attention was on his former club? And I know he apologised for the way he celebrated at the end. And I get that, I guess. But the bottom line is, we are Chelsea FC. We're not Frank Lampard fucking FC. And we needed 3 points. And now we've invited on the pressure. Once again, we've done it to ourselves. And I see that Thomas Tuchel has slammed the players, criticised the players, and he's every right to do so. But, you know, you have to ask questions about the players that he's picking. But this is my take on it, and I'll tell you what I think has happened here, right? I think that when all the talk about the sanctions and you know, and the ownership of the football club, and we seem to be playing game after game where we almost had this siege mentality where Thomas Tuchel was almost a statesman like. You know, he was the man protecting the players, the focal point. He was taking it all on himself, and he was basically pushing out a real positive attitude, a real top level in terms of psychology, his mental approach to it all. And it was really us as a football club against the world. Even though he wasn't saying that, he was saying, look, this is Chelsea, this is how we are, so this is our mentality regardless. Trust me, yeah. We were in a bubble, a Thomas Tuchel bubble. And what happened was, when that pointless international break happened, all the players went off. Now, some of them went off for international duty, some of them went off for holidays, most of them in Dubai, seems to be the place these days. And a lot of them went, obviously, home, friends and family, and they had a break, you know. And of course, listen, we're supporters, we know on social media, everyone's out there, they're taking a piss, they're throwing out negativities, and you're outside of that bubble. And unfortunately, the genie was then out of the bottle. Those players then come back to the fold, and they've been listening to all sorts of stuff going on, maybe perhaps putting a brave face on it themselves, but nevertheless, right, psychology of language and what you think about will come about, and the whole process of the law of attraction, trust me, yeah, that's when it all started to crumble away, and self-doubt comes in and all sorts of problems, you know. Sorry guys, just a phone call was coming in at the same time. So what I'm saying to you guys, right, okay, is that's where I think everything went Pete Tong, yeah. And it's been very, very difficult, and that's why I want the season to end. Listen, it wasn't good enough, yeah. As I said, we knew what to expect. We knew Everton were going to be in our faces. We knew that. I mean, as soon as they were out of the traps right from the word go, pressing high on us, not allowing us time to play our stuff. And let's be honest, the whole process of the way we played yesterday was far too slow, pushing the ball left to right. We're not really making anything. Sorry, guys. That's the beauty of doing a live video when and then situations happen, like, you know, fucking really pisses me off as well, do you know what I mean, when things like that happen. There you go, turn my phone off now, so that ain't going to happen. So what I'm saying is, guys, we played far too slow. We were never really going to be in that game, and of course, once again, we can't finish. And I have to say, yeah, I look at the personnel, and there's certain players that are playing in this team right now that I just don't think are good enough for Chelsea. I don't think Sarr's good enough. I think we've got problems. We have to now look at our squad now and say to each other, really and truly, what are the players really that are worth building around and keeping on the future. And perhaps this takeover is a massive thing now, because we do need to strengthen, we do need to buy, we do need to address certain issues, and we do need to question certain players, as I say, whether they're good enough. Marcus Alonso, you know, what we're going to do with him. Cesar Azpilicueta, his mistake once again. Listen, we played the most games out of every... You can't expect those players, right, 60, 63, 64 games during the course of the season, playing game in, game out. It's going to affect them, yeah? And Cesar, listen, what a legend he is, yeah? But we can't rely on players like that, yeah? What is the matter with Trevor Chalobah? Why isn't he playing, yeah? Jorginho's another one, you know. Do we get rid to Italy? I mean, there's lots to talk about. Juventus, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Callum Hudson-Odoi, is he ever coming back to the fold? Christian Pulisic, yes, Christian Pulisic. Let's be honest, he spends more time on the injury table than anything else. Hakim Ziyech, we all know he's got a sweet, you know, sweet curling shot, and he's a great player, but has he really done enough to impress? You know, is our number one striker going to be Kai Havertz? Well, I think he's a second striker. He's a great player, don't get me wrong. He's young and he's a fantastic player like Mason Mount, yeah? But is he really going to be our number one striker? Are we going to win the league, the Premier League, right, by playing, you know, Kai Havertz every time up front, you know? And he can't do that all the time, you know? He should be playing off a striker, yeah? Romelu Lukaku, I think, was prime for the Man United game and prime for the Everton game, by the way they were playing. Both physical games, yeah? Against his old club, he's going to have, you know, he's going to have more momentum going into those games, because, you know, against his old club, he wants to prove himself, you know, and everything else. And I just think from a physicality perspective, because I thought Havertz, right, okay, was literally kicked off the park yesterday. He was bossed at the back by their centre backs, and I just feel that was perhaps really crying out for Romelu Lukaku. But, you know, again, you know, it's a question mark over him. I mean, we're going to stick with him, you know. Can we get some or most of our money back on him? There's lots and lots and lots of things that we need to sort out. So for me, the season cannot end fast enough. Fingers crossed on the FA Cup. Let's be honest, right? If we play like the way we've been playing over the last 3-4 games, we're going to come unstuck against Liverpool, because all three of those players up front, they only need one chance. You know, Cristiano Ronaldo needed one chance, right, for Manchester United against us, right, and he just took the ball down, one bit of little class, finish, yeah, and that's what all three of their front men can do against us. We know how difficult it's going to be, and we've got to raise our game. We've got to raise our game, you know, if we're going to get anything out of it, because they are in incredible form right now, whereas our form right now is the worst out of the top five. Yeah, I mean, you have to say Arsenal's form is better than us right now. Tottenham's form is better than us right now. You know, we are really seriously limping over the line, and, you know, as I say, the end of the season can't come quick enough. Now, with regards to the the ownership, as we know a little bit more about things. We know that 3 bidders were left in, and we know that Todd Boehly is the chosen individual. But he's chosen enough to go forward now and speak to Chelsea and put a formal offer in for the club, and then obviously go through all the respective paperwork. But why do we know that he was chosen? Well, we know that he was on every single point. He was actually on point. They had a professional team that came in, arguing on every single front. When there was talk about the stadium, he didn't just talk about development. He showed them how it was going to be done and how it was possible. Definitely on point with every single aspect. Money was no issues, as we know. Clear Lake Capital, Goldman Sachs, the conglomerate of billionaires, plenty of money, asked for an additional £1 billion, asked for £500,000 additional, £500,000 for stadium development, the academy, the women's team, and of course, you know, the transfer kitty. Absolutely impressive bid. There's no two ways about it. Out of the 3, we know that the Stephen Paluca deal, on the finances, a lot of it was part finance, so a lot of it didn't meet there. They didn't have a lot of things to say about the stadium, how they were going to do it. You know, there wasn't the confidence there was with the Bowley bid. With regards to the Broughton bid, Chelsea wasn't really happy with the commercialisation of the fact that the Serena Williams and the Lewis Hamilton part, etc. They wasn't really impressed with that, and also there was issues with the funding as well. And then, dramatic twist right at the end, the man that, along with Bowley 4 years ago, these were the two, by the way, that always were interested in the club. You know, we get a Radcliffe come in with a 4.25 billion pound bid, with 1.75 billion floated over a 10-year period, which was going to go towards stadium development and player development. And he was really talking up a lot of things, saying that Chelsea should be the face of London, like Bayern Munich are the face of, you know, Munich and Germany, and Barcelona, Real Madrid, and all that sort of stuff. And it seems that if you look at their blueprint, it's fantastic. But again, I think where they're going to fail, even though their bid, by the way, went via, didn't even touch the Rain Group, so it didn't go through the process. It went direct to Chelsea. It was a lastminute.com, which is really unusual as well, because he always said that the valuation of Chelsea was too high, and that was 4 years ago. You know, his valuation was at least 2 billion less, but in he comes on a last-minute one. And listen, I'm not saying, right, okay, that it's over, but by the sounds of things, right, it is all about Bowley, because Sir Jim Radcliffe, right, okay, remember, he owns the football club in France, Nice. There's an issue there, which was the same issue as why the Broughton bid was also rejected, because of the connections with their associates, i.e. Crystal Palace. So I think it's all about Bowley, and I'm glad, actually, to be fair, because by the sounds of it, it's all cool. My daughter's on it, just about to come in the car right now.
Dad.
Yes, baby. You doing your gardening?
Daddy, you and me listen to him.
I'll come and help you, baby. So listen, guys, I'll speak to you later. Much love, and I'm thinking about going out on a live one. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Yeah. Much love. See you soon. Up the Chelsea, and keep the faith. That was Cobblers yesterday, and we listen. We've got to find some form somewhere, because we have to win the FA Cup. Anyway, speak to you soon.